Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, your number one stop for all things in the world of golf. Watch and subscribe anywhere you get your favorite shows on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and more. Just search Get in the Hole. Get in the Hole is the official golf pod of the Underground Sports Philadelphia family of podcasts. Now let's get right into the action. Here's your hosts, Steve McAvoy and Ben Pirro.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
So what ended up happening was I went into the game and I was like, all right, I'm going to bet the team who loses the coin toss because of the last 11 Super Bowls, I think, or the last 10 straight. Team loses the coin toss, loses the game. So sorry, team to win the coin toss loses the game. Then I was like, Chiefs win the coin toss. I don't know. Do I go Eagles? I don't know. And a guy who I listen to all the time, Sam Paniotovich, works for Nesson, goes, the pros are taking the Chiefs and the Joes are taking the Eagles. Therefore, I'm going with the Chiefs. And I was like, all right. I mean, it's a good take. Obviously, all the pro gamblers are like, let's go in for the team who has the best quarterback ever, at least now in the NFL. So it's like, all right, what do I do? I wrote out the first quarter. I was like, you know what? Let's wait. Saw a stat about halfway through the second. Pat Mahomes, to this point, out of any quarterback in the last 25 years, is the best second-half quarterback in the playoffs in NFL history. Better than Brady, better than Manning, better than Rodgers. It's Pat Mahomes. And I was like, interesting. So I saw another stat. Jalen Hurts is the best first-half quarterback in the NFL over the past 2 years, has a QBR of 110, has a second-half QBR of 62. So a third stat, Jalen Hurts is the fourth worst quarterback in the NFL when handling pressure. They were getting to him all night. About halfway through the second quarter, I said, I'm putting the money on at plus 500 for the Chiefs.
Wow.
Exceptional odds. They were down by, they're now what, 17 to 7, I think it was. And for some reason, Vegas was like, there's no way they're coming back. I was like, don't count out Patty Mahomes. So I took that. The overall bet portfolio didn't do great. I did, however, win. I won $300. So I put 100 in. I won $400 on one bet. 3-leg parlay, Hurts, Kelsey, Tony, all to score a touchdown.
Wow, that's pretty good odds for. I think Tony's your only outlier on that one. You assume Jalen's going to run one in. You assume Kelsey's going to catch one. Exactly. That's a super value parlay.
Well, the beauty was Tony was like plus 400, and there was a report that came out just before the game that Tony might not play the whole game because obviously he got hurt 2 weeks ago. So all of a sudden I was like, well, shit, I'm not going to hit this. I'm not going to hit this bet. He played one snap until the fourth quarter. On the third snap he played, he scored the touchdown. The whole game I'm like, oh my God, where's Kadarius Toney? What the hell's going on? Where is he? And as it turns out, once you play one snap, your bet can't get voided. So I was like,
oh shoot!
I put him in for one snap in the first quarter. Didn't play him at all. But I took it because Nick Costos, one of the guys who I listen to, says that in this year, of all the routes Kadarius Toney lines up in, he catches the ball half the time, and he's targeted half the time.
That's crazy.
So I was like, that's easy money then. At that point, if he's gonna make a play, let's say he lines up for 12 snaps, that's 6 targets. Like, why not go for that? And of course, just absolutely burn them on back-to-back routes, and it worked out great. So very good. I'm very happy with my bets. We'll have to add with $300. I'm probably gonna burn all of it now on more bets, but overall, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I thought it was a great game. Great Super Bowl. I mean, with the Super Bowl, all you're asking for is a good game. And I can't believe they're plus 500 at half. That's crazy to me because I never thought they were actually out of it.
Well, at that point, the Eagles were also marching down the field, and the odds immediately changed shortly after. So I was like, I had to pull it now or I don't. But yeah, no, the game overall was great. But honestly, amongst everything, I thought the commercials were kind of weak. There was only like 3 or 4 really, really good commercials. The halftime show, amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was fire. I thought it was elite.
People giving Rihanna shit for what she did. She's fucking pregnant.
Yeah.
Give me a damn break. Just shut up.
I thought it was so good. Her
great.
dancing was obviously limited because of the circumstances, but her singing was unreal. It sounded like it was from a recording. It was incredible.
Now, like, granted, there's obviously a backing track in case anything goes wrong, but it didn't seem like she was lip syncing that bad. I know in the past it's been some really bad instances. The one thing that I will say though, I'm upset that there was no guest appearances. Could have easily made it for Jay-Z.
I know.
Easily found his way in. Thought it was funny how she stole Kanye's song right from underneath him, all the lights.
Yeah.
And probably the best part of the concert. Well, first of all, cashed in a nice fun bet on the back end for final song Diamonds.
Wow.
Heard it from like 5 people. I said I gotta cash this, so let's go. I did it. But no, like, Rihanna was great. I don't think there was any problem with the show whatsoever. People want to give her crap. Like, the woman was suspended 150 feet in the air with a child in her stomach.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break.
No, I thought my only knock on it was I thought it was almost like an abrupt ending. Like, she kind of just left me wanting more, which could be a positive, could be a negative, I guess. Well, like, when she stopped, I was like, is she done? Or
well, if you noticed, Apple Music then put out like, go to applemusic.com and find like a live album.
Yeah, they just paid probably $1 gazillion to be the sponsor.
But think about it though, like, leave you wanting more. You're gonna now go and listen to Rihanna for the next half hour.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend drove home. I was like, solid like 9.2 show. Would have only been better had she actually played Pond to Replay, but that's just me.
No, my boys and I watching the game, we were talking about like what does she open with? What does she open with? I thought it was gonna be Don't Stop the Music. I thought she's gonna come out just bumping, but I thought the way she opened it was incredible.
All right, I was a little upset. I put a bet down, heard some insider information, was the opening song was gonna be Stay.
Mm-hmm.
Was going to illuminate on her, and then she was going to go into Don't Stop the Music and then just go off. Heard about 4:30 on Sunday, it's going to be Bitch Better Have My Money. And I was like, fuck. I'm like freaking out and scrambling. The sports books took it off because everyone knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But honestly, it really is what it is. It happens.
But I mean, like, what's stopping you if you work at the football stadium and you have the set list for her? Like, this has been planned forever. If I'm a lights guy at the football stadium, why am I not putting my life saving knowing it's going to be that song? You know what I'm saying? You can. What I found out though was that because of like the new technology age, like, if the sports books get wind that like information is circulating about these things, they'll void everyone's bet. Because they don't want to lose money. But I guarantee, like, the lighting people had to be totally in the know for the last 2 months. Like, she's had to have known this set list. I knew a guy who told me he knew somebody at Super Bowl and said, hey, I'm going to send you the recording of Stapleton's anthem. And I was like, all right, bet. Because he worked for ESPN. He knew guys on the inside. I was like, I'm going to send it to you. I never wound up getting it, but like that stuff happens and it circulates so often. And at that point, like, once they know that there is information circulating, they're just going to avoid it because they simply don't want to lose the money. And for them, honestly, it's kind of a good move. Either they don't want to lose the money or they'll take the bet off the board, and you simply can't make it, which they very clearly did. So, and I can't believe he went under Stapleton. He was moving slow, but he must have picked it up in the middle. I saw under. I thought 205 was the mark. Oh, I had the over at 202. I got in really early. Oh, I saw 205, and the under was like 204.8 or something. It was crazy. 204.8. I had my girlfriend with a stopwatch. She was like, "Yeah, oh sit here." 2.5. We're going crazy, bro.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Getting the Whole podcast. Steve McAvoy, Jake Dippold here. Another terrific Monday afternoon, Monday evening, covering the world of golf, bringing you all the info that we can here on the PGA Tour. The Waste Management Phoenix Open played an incredible week. Scotty Scheffler reclaims the number one spot in the golfing world. We're going to debate whether or not him or Jon Rahm truly is the number one going into this week at Riviera. And of course, what's a show without talking more live? We're going to get to all that and more in just a little bit. First, though, I want to not to kind of dumb down the momentum and the happiness here, but I want to give a shout out, a thank you, and a lot of love. Jake, I don't know if you saw it, but yesterday, ESPN longtime producer, founder of SportsCenter, Barry Sachs, passed away. I had Barry in my class in grad school. He was my professor. Probably not only my favorite professor I ever had, but probably my favorite person that I ever got to know at Quinnipiac. Was incredible. Of course, helped co-found SportsCenter back in the early 80s. Founded College Game Day, did everything in basketball, started really NASCAR coverage at ESPN. And I think Reese David said it the best. Barry was ESPN. He was everything about it. He's touched the lives of so many people. Scott Van Pelt, Dick Vitale, Robin Roberts at Good Morning America this morning had a great honoring of him because she worked there in the production studio a while back. Just amazing guy, and it's so sad to see that he passed away just yesterday of a heart attack. Unfortunately, suffered it on Saturday. Couldn't stabilize his BP. Unfortunately, brain function compromised, and just things didn't work out. So I want to give a shout out to Barry. One of the things that me and him bonded over was golf. Every single week during school, he come to me, he goes, hey, Steve, what'd you bet on this week in the golf tournament? And I go, Barry, I bet Colin Morikawa. And he goes, why the fuck would you bet Colin Morikawa? He's the worst player in the field. I said, Barry's going to be a stud. I don't fucking care. You got to take Jon Rahm with the good odds. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe next time. I'll never forget. He came to me one day. It was, oh God, they were playing the Honda, I think it was. This was like last year, 2 years ago. He goes, Steve, I really like Daniel Berger. And I go, sure. I don't know anything about what's going on this week in the Honda outside of the fact that I think like Sepp Straka is really good this week. And it turned out being Sepp Straka won in the playoff against who else? Daniel Berger. And he called me, and like for a week we were like, what the hell was that? So no, Barry was great. We really bonded over golf betting and sports betting. He told me actually, he called me on Monday for my birthday. And what turned into a quick birthday hello was 25 minutes on sports betting. And he gave me a 4-leg parlay that he says is quote unquote guaranteed to cash. It unfortunately didn't, but he had the Eagles first half over at 23.5. They had 24 points. He had the Hurts first touchdown of the game, which hit. He had Tony 30+ yards, didn't hit. And he was the one who told me Diamonds was the last song. And of course told me he was going to give me the anthem. Unfortunately never did. But oh man, the Barry parlay was epic. We're all standing there. I was like, I don't think I'm going to take the Eagles first half over. And then he passed away, and I was like, is this an omen? Like, do I have to play these bets? And I did, and I was like, oh my God, this is happening. But yeah, no, shout out to Barry. I love you. Hope I see you again one day soon. Not soon. At some point in my life. We'll see each other again. So I want to dedicate this episode to him, and hopefully every single bet we made this week catches in with flying colors. All right. Enough of the sad shit. We got golf to talk about. Oh, God, I'm getting emotional. Scotty Scheffler, this past week at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, goes back to back, just like the Drake song. Like Michael Jordan, 96, 97, took home the back-to-back victory at the Waste Management, is like the third or fourth player to go back-to-back at this event. Bros Koepka's done it. Hideki Matsuyama's done it. Seems like it's the ride now of something new for Scotty Scheffler. Has been obviously really good this whole year. I don't think he's finished any worse than like 15th outside of one time in like 7 events this year. But you got to think about this now. Scottie Scheffler last year got his first win at the Waste Management. Went on this magical run of like, what, 5 wins, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Going to the Masters?
Yeah, 5.
Do we think that this is now the second run of Scottie Scheffler?
I mean, I don't think we give Scottie enough credit as just like a golf world. I mean, obviously when he blew up and had all those wins in a row, people were talking about him. But for him not to be in the conversation of best player in the world is ludicrous. And you and I feel like are person number one for not doing that. Like we have not talked about Scottie at all recently, but he's still been in the mix and the number 3 player in the world this whole entire time. I think him going on a run is always possible. I think just how consistent he is and how good he is and how unorthodox he is, he can just kind of play anywhere. And he's a guy that doesn't get involved in any type of drama, so he's always ready to go. And we just saw it this week on display.
Not for nothing, like, you want to talk about how good he's actually been. Like, played, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's played 7 events this year, 5 full field events, not including the Century. Finished 45th at the CJ, which was his worst performance by far this year. Finished 3rd at Mayakoba, 9th at the Houston Open. He finished 2nd at the Hero, which, of course, 20-man field, so we'll kind of discount that. Finished T7 at Kapalua, which, again, incredible strength of field despite it only being 39 players. 11th at the Amex, and now, of course, a win here. Like, dating back to last year now, this is 6 wins in 2 years, and I believe he's had, like, only 4 finishes worse than top 20.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's had 3. Dating to his first win, which came, of course, at the Phoenix Open, he has had 2 finishes of worse than 20. Sorry, 3 finishes worse than 20th, and only 3 missed cuts. And also, he's won a major. And
that's crazy.
And he finished top 5 in 2 of the 3 playoff events.
And
was amazing.
For him to win the Masters too, I know they're all majors and I know they're all important, but winning the Masters is just something different, you know?
Well, I think the bigger thing is that, like, the fact that he did it at his age, like, you don't see many, like, really young players come out and dominate like that. And he played incredible the whole way through. And not for nothing too, like, you want to talk about, like, playoff situation and having to go bout for bout every single hole with one guy. Cameron Smith is probably the hardest player to go against at the time. Because at that point, John Rahm had Kepa. He was kind of out of it. He played, 1 practice round and then showed up. Rory wasn't totally in form yet. That would happen 3 months later. Brooks Koepka wasn't really there. Dustin Johnson wasn't really there. So, like, who else was going to go? But it was Will Zalatoris and Cameron Smith that everyone was like, when are they going to win? Because Zalatoris was, back-to-back top 10s?
I think he was runner-up, right? Runner-up top 10?
Yeah, runner-up top 10. Yeah. And then Cameron Smith has finished top 5 there each of the last 3 years. It was like, what's going to happen? And I knew that, I put a bet down on Cameron Smith to win. And then on Sunday, I was like, Scottie Scheffler was like a pretty damn good bet at this point. So do I think this is the start of another magical run from Scottie? I don't know, because the field and the designated events and all these different things kind of factoring in. There's going to be a lot of competition. And it starts this week, of course, at Riviera, where 9 of the top 10 players in the quote-unquote official World Golf rankings are in. The only guy who isn't is Cameron Smith, just because he doesn't even play on tour anymore. So 24 of the top 25, 25 of the top 25, you actually just count down PGA players. So, like, the competition is way higher than anything else he's had to deal with. Obviously, when he won at, like, the Waste Management, yes, there was a very heightened field, but, like, I think 3 or 4 of the top 10 players didn't play that week. At Bay Hill, 2 players didn't play. So there's still some competition that's getting lost. But now with these elevated events, you're going to have 6 of them in the next 10 weeks. Like, you're not going to have any time to really kind of breathe. And we had mentioned that last week. So I think Scheffler is going to have a lot of competition, but this very well could be the start of another 3 or 4 win season from Scottie Scheffler, depending on how things go.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I'm so on with you. I think strength of field in that little run there he had wasn't incredible, but he's always going to put him in himself to be contending on Sunday, and it just would not surprise me at all.
Now, let me ask you this. So obviously Scottie jumped to number 1 in the world because of the win. Yeah. Do you think he deserves to be the number 1 player in the world, even with Jon Rahm's 4 wins and 8 starts standing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super sold on the Rahm train right now. He's good, and he's definitely a top 3 golfer in the world, but I just don't see his couple wins at very average to closely above average fields to really make me say, oh my gosh, he's so much better than Scottie and Rory, which might be an unpopular opinion.
I think Rahm's better than Rory right now, and I think this week is kind of a testament to it. The fact that he finished T2 or T3.
Yeah, I think it was T. Yeah, either because JT was T4 solo.
Yeah, so 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Jon Rahm was terrific this week. He's been terrific the entire year. He's got 5 wins in his last 9 starts. Yeah, he finished 3rd here. Jon Rahm's had one round outside of the top 10 since the FedEx St. Jude, all the way back in August.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't even know why I'm not sold, to be honest with you. There's just something about him that I'm just not there.
I think he's better than Rory right now. I don't think Rory should be number 2 in the world, especially considering he finished 32nd this week and how it didn't push him back after Rahm finished 2 is beyond me. Then again, this is why we have our own World Golf rankings. Number 1, I think right now is Scheffler. 2, I'd say is Rahm. 3, I think we have to start really considering Xander Schauffele to be the third best golfer in the world, considering Rory's had that short spout of not great golf. Xander Schauffele, since the BMW, 3rd, 6th, 9th, 4th, a withdrawal, 3 and 13th, and then 10th at the Phoenix.
Yeah, I just got to see a win out of him. I got to see a win out of him.
Well, he did go back to back at the Travelers and the Genesis, the Scottish.
Oh, I guess you're right. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm just thinking I have such recency bias right now, and with Rory just absolutely dominating Reed going in that last day, he just has a little bit of a push for me because I just can't stand Patrick Reed. Yeah.
Now, top 5 for me right now is definitely Scheffler, Rahm. I'm going to push Rory to 4. I'm sorry. That T32 is leaving a sour taste in there. Xander 3. I'm going to go Rory 4. 5's Cantley. And then 6 is Tony, one of the 2.
Probably Colin. Man, even with his dump of a tournament at Century, it's got to be Colin. But even Cantley feels a little weird to me because he just doesn't win as often, I feel like, as he should. He's always in the mix. It's just depends on how much you put into wins, Well,
look, you know what? Parity in golf is so significant. And again, I'm beating the dead horse to no avail. Tony Finau took him 6 years to win an event. So, top 10 golfer in the world, and he couldn't win for 6 years. So, I mean, anything's possible. The recency bias, though, I think is it's the worst thing. You kind of have to look big picture here and at least look at last 24 rounds of golf or last 10 events. I think kind of should be the metric to base it all off of. Pushing over from the PGA Tour back over to LIV because again, what else is a show about LIV? What is a show about golf without having LIV golf in it? In a provision they tried to add to a hearing for one of their lawsuits against the PGA, openly admitted that they have made virtually zero revenue in 2022. And when I say virtually zero, it's literally deep into the negatives. The Saudi investment fund spent $784 million on employee salaries, build-outs, and production costs, none of which included the guarantees and salaries of its players. And now when you consider $200 million for Phil, $150 million for DJ, $100 million for Cameron Smith, then all of a sudden the enumeration is starting to dive into the billions, and I'm getting nervous just thinking about it. Then again, did we see it coming? Like they signed the $0 deal with the CW, so we'll pay you to air our shit.
Yeah, like I don't know how long this can last. Do they just have an endless fund of money? Because for them not to include the players' salaries in that, does that not include like purse money as well?
No, yeah, it does.
It does,
but it doesn't include the guaranteed monies. So like
so like the salary. I mean, the salaries is what their whole brand is too, and the amount of money in that is wild. I for them to not make any money and still think they're a legit competitor for this antitrust suit with the PGA is mind-boggling.
I mean, according to Wikipedia, because it's the apex of analytical rigor. The Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia has an estimated assets of $620 billion.
Jeez.
So like what's $1 billion to them? Like
what else do they spend their money on? They got a soccer league, right?
They do have a soccer team. I believe they're trying to establish they're trying to establish a bunch of different sports.
They paid Ronaldo like $1 gazillion, right, to play on their team.
Well, I don't know if that team is sponsored by that
the
team.
investment group. Yeah. I mean, the investment group has to have some tie to like Saudi royalty, correct?
Yeah. Hold on. So it's Al Nasir FC. They are. This would be a great question for the top ends guys. What is this? Well, all right. So the owner is Musali Al Muammar. Probably just butchered that name. He's the former head of the Saudi Pro League, is the current president of the football club, and is a member of the Saudi Investment Fund. So there you go. Yeah.
Is the Saudi Pro League like a soccer team? Not a soccer team?
Yeah. The
soccer league?
Yeah, that's the league they're in.
Yeah, I mean, so this guy just has literally an endless fund of money. And I'm sure he can just print money. He can probably just print money if he wants more.
Dude, this is like, hold on. So the Public Investment Fund, we're gonna have to do some ridiculous digging here. And I'm sure we can. But the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, hold on. So this is about LIV. An article by the SBJ came out. Oh, they have large scale partnerships right now in Formula One, WWE, and is a major stakeholder in esports.
Wow.
They are one of the investment funds who helped the bidding for Qatar for the World Cup, as well as joined a bid with Egypt and Greece to host the 2030 Men's World Cup.
So this company is just, I mean, it's like the Tesla of Saudi, basically. Probably is a good way to put it, right?
I wouldn't even call it that.
More than that?
Probably. According to this, they spent $2.3 billion in soccer deals and sponsorships. According to Front Office Sports, this happened back in October. The companies owned by the PIF, namely Qiddiya and Jeddah Central, have multiple 20-year deals with domestic soccer clubs. The PIF owns 80% of Newcastle United in the EPL. They operate an e-commerce platform called Noon, which is the shirt sponsor of Manchester City.
Dang. So there's like a ton of subsidiaries. They basically just have subsidiaries that probably flow in cash.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, at this point, wouldn't be surprised of what else they own. They have so much stuff though. Yeah, like they have soccer deals. They've got obviously LIVGolf. They've got motorsports.
That's actually wild. And there's motorsports in Saudi Arabia. That's another surprise to me.
Well, I think F1 is in.
Oh, that's considered a motorsport. I was thinking like dirt bikes for some reason. I don't know why. That's where my mind automatically went.
In 2019, they also paid $40 million to host professional boxing's Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz.
That fight was in Saudi?
Yeah.
Wow. Saudi, am I going to get canceled for calling it Saudi? That's what you call it, right? It's called Saudi.
Their rematch was at a makeshift boxing ring in the desert of Al Tarif near Riyadh.
Was this like COVID? They fight during COVID?
I think so. No, 2019.
Is Abu Dhabi's like a part of Saudi Arabia, correct?
It's a part of the UAE, which I think is like a conglomerate of nations.
Because UFC had that whole like first sports back thing in the UAE. Do you remember that? Yeah. So the UAE is basically a conglomerate of 7. They call it like 7 like emirates. Located at the eastern end of shares a border with Oman and Saudi Arabia, has maritime borders in the Persian Gulf with Qatar and Iran. Yeah, so like it's it's in the peninsula, but it isn't. It's next to Saudi Arabia. I really have no idea how to like describe anything about this place. The wealth gap there is actually insane to me, like literally insane.
Well, didn't they also they also built their country in 20 years?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like Dubai is like super new, right?
Yeah, like all of that is like so brand new, and they built this country in like 25 years.
So like, are they just running on credit, or like, do they actually just have like a back? It's the oil. They just have all the access to oil, right?
That they probably also do have like OPEC ties.
It's crazy. Yeah, like back to golf, but LIVGolf and being Saudi backed, they can essentially they have like the golden ticket. They can just try to do whatever they want. For you to make negative, what do they spend? Negative probably $1.5 billion, negative $1.5 billion, and still say you had a good year and you signed a TV contract. Like that's like getting the golden ticket to the chocolate factory. You know what I'm saying? They
own the chocolate factory, the women, the workers. They own everything.
They got Oompa Loompas. They got everything.
For all I know, they have Oompa Loompas working there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. We got to take a short break here. We got to get off the live train. We're going to come back in right here on the other side, discuss some Riviera Country Club, some more draft talk. We have some more things coming up. And, of course, a certain somebody is playing this week at the Genesis. We're going to talk all about it. And what are the chances that he can win this week? I don't really know, but we're going to find out right here on the Get in the Hole podcast.
Welcome back to the Get in the Hole podcast, sponsored by Ty's Baseball Tees. Ty's Baseball Tees is the online t-shirt shop that is all baseball. Get your tee now at tysbaseballtees.com and 10% off your purchase with discount code PITCH10. That's PITCH 10. And don't forget to follow them on Instagram at Ty's Baseball Tees. Steve, people loved our last draft. We got to have another draft. Draft board today is, what are the worst types of golfers you could possibly have in your group? What's your first pick?
Honestly, and I fall victim to this, the guy who takes his golf game way too seriously and gets like super pissed off when he makes like double, but like you knew he was going to make double the whole way anyways.
That's a good pick.
The second his drive went 30 yards into the woods and he's going to try to play hero ball through a forest. Yeah, no, that's me, honestly. I fall victim to that all the time.
My first pick has got to be the guy who pulls out the ball retriever and goes and gets balls out of the lake.
I've never seen that before by anybody.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
I don't see anybody do that in New York, and I'm really happy that no one does because like pace of play is already brutally slow for the most part. So thankfully no one does that. I would say another would be like I appreciate guys that like go out and like want to enjoy golf and drink a little. But the guy who at the halfway house gets like the 8 things of transfusions and the 4 high noons and is like, I'm all set, burns like $40 at the halfway house, loses basically half of the stock they have stocked up there and just gets fucking trashed on the back nine. Or my one friend Jack, notorious for plays the first 3 holes, is like about a double bogey golfer on average, like for every hole, maybe like a bogey here and there. The second he goes like triple, double, double, he'll light the blunt and be like, I'm done for the day. Next 15 holes is just like breezing through. Doesn't kind of score or nothing.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, might as well when you're going double, double, double at that point. Triple.
No, exactly. Like he said, he's like, oh, like I'll make 1 par. I'll be like, oh, I'll be good. And it's like 6th hole, it's 2 more doubles. It's like, all right, well, I'm done.
Yeah, I'd say off of that trend, I'd go the old random guy who tries to smooze the cart girl.
I would say any guy who tries to smooze the cart girl. I mean,
yeah, I'd throw that in, but I was trying to be specific for the draft. I wanted to leave things open.
Yeah, but like the old creepy guys are just like kind of funny. Like my grandpa, who and I love my grandpa. May he rest in peace. He used to have this joke whenever we go to restaurants, and he'd be like, "Oh, I didn't know you had to win a beauty pageant to work here." And like
that's a good line.
It's innocent. It's funny. It's kind of cute, but like I don't know. The wrong guy saying it is just really creepy and like kind of gross. This is probably the best one. And I'm sure you can attest to this as somebody who's engaged and has a longtime girlfriend. It's kind of a dual one. It's the guy who always gets phone calls in the course and answers them.
Yeah.
Or it's the guy whose girlfriend is constantly like, "Oh, when are you done?" And
that's a good one.
And you're like, "I'm on 14," and you're like, "Well, yeah, but like you were on 8 3 hours ago," and I'm like, "Not my fault that like the pace is slow." Always happens.
That's a good one. And like I hate when people I'm playing with answer the phone. Like it's literally the worst thing ever. And I played with some guys who answer the phone all the time. And they know who they are. They know who they are. I'd say this is probably my best one that I have. It's the guy who is 250 out and waits for the green to clear to then just top the ball 10 feet. Literally the worst thing ever. Like you're never hitting that shot. 100 times you're never hitting that shot. Stop trying.
So good. That's so good. All right. This is my last one. And honestly, my favorite guy in the group to play with. It's the guy who says he'll keep the score because he knows he's going to fudge his own score.
That's a good one.
So he makes sure that no one's like, "Oh, what'd you make there?" Because he's going to be like, "Oh, yeah, put me down for a bogey," when like it was like, bro, you shot like an 8.
Yeah, but he can write it down. If he writes it down, no one's. I'm not going to remember you got a 7 on 4 when we're on 17. That's a good one. My last one kind of goes off that. Shout out Patty Reed. Cheaters. Any type of cheater. And like if we're not playing for anything, I care less what you do.
Yeah.
If you and I are actually playing, going back to college, I was playing against one of my buddies, and they ducked hooked the ball. We were playing for the round fee. That's what we'd always kind of do. Like you'd pay what the other team's round fee, whoever wins. And they duck hooked 2 provisionals into the woods, and then they found their initial tee shot. And there's like, "Oh, it's a vice ball. I was playing a vice ball." We had no idea what they were playing. And I swear to this day, they cheated and we lost by 1 stroke.
All right, well, hold on. All right. This brings up another one. So my one friend is like the rules official as he fucking plays like on the PGA Tour. He refuses to wear shorts. He has to wear pants. Yeah. This kid's the biggest golf hardo. Has to wear pants on the golf course. And he's always nitpicking the rules. I scold my driver, really bad hook into the woods. I go, "All right, I'm gonna take a provisional." My provisional also goes in the woods. I go, "Well, looks like I'm going diving." Found the original ball, but the provisional was OB. I was like, "But I found the original ball, so if I play that, I'm not assessed the stroke penalty, even though it went out of bounds." For about a half hour, we were arguing back and forth. Well, if the ball was OB, then you have to take the penalty because you were banking on that being the ball you were going to use anyways. Had you not, I'm like, yeah, but I found the original ball.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that.
Kid like calls his dad, who also thinks he's like a PGA pro. I was like, "Dad, what do you make of this?" Like 30-year country club veteran. It's like, "Oh, well," I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of this bullshit."
I'm on your team. I'm Team Steve there. No
Thank
brainer.
You. Thank you. And honestly, you know what? I do cheat every now and then, but I do it more so to not get hurt. Like if I'm stuck behind a tree, I will take free relief like 2 club lengths off to the side to make sure that like I'm not going to either swing into the back of the tree or that I have to like stop myself short or else I'm going to fucking break my wrists going for a shot.
Yeah, I'm unless I'm playing in like the club tournament, there's no way I'm hitting a ball off a hard ground. I'm not ruining my club for my round with my friends. Like, and we all know that. There's no way I'm hitting off of a bunch of roots. It's just never happening.
Yeah, the hard pan is the worst thing ever in golf to have to overcome. It's ridiculous. Jake, he's back. He's doing it. Tiger Woods is golfing in a PGA Tour event that is not involving his son, that is not involving that is not involving a 20-man field. It is in fact a full PGA event. The Genesis Invitational Riviera Country Club, the site of his first career victory on the PGA Tour, Riviera Country Club. He'll be returning to Riviera. I have to ask this question because it seems like it's the one thing that everyone on every podcast in America is talking about. What are the odds that he wins? Across the odds board, I see him at 100 to 1. I see him at 150 to 1, 120 to 1, 140 to 1. But like, what do you think? Is there any chance Tiger Woods get a win this week at Riviera?
I have to say, every time Tiger laces them up, there's always a chance he can win. However, he is getting older, and he's definitely not the Tiger we used to have. When he said he was playing in the Masters last year, everyone said, oh, if he's lacing them up, he can win. If he's lacing them up, they can win. And then he didn't make the cut, right? If I remember that correctly, he didn't make the cut. Or he like just made it and then blew it on Saturday, right? Like it just fell apart. Yeah, so I don't think we have the Tiger we used to have, but if Tiger's lacing him up, he, in his mind, thinks he can win. And if he thinks he can win, there's always a chance. So that's a super value pick if you want to throw 5 on it.
Yeah, so just like for funsies, and I would save this for beer money, but I want to just like talk about like the bets that are here. Again, he's 150 to 1 at most books. 100 to 1, you might find him. Odds to miss the cut was like minus 155. It's been bet all the way down to minus 300. His over under score was 72.5. That's been hit so hard it's all the way up now to 74.5.
Wow, people are all over him stinking.
Yeah, and like, look, I am a man of faith. Not necessarily not always the God-fearing kind of faith, but just like hopeful something good will happen. Yeah. I don't care if Tiger Woods is 78 years old and can barely swing a club. I'm going to believe there's always a chance for him to win. Realistically, though, I mean, look, he hasn't truly he hasn't played an event. It's been what, 7 months since the Open, missing the cut there and walking over the bridge. Like 7 months. He looked to be struggling a little bit at the PNC, trying to walk. He obviously will not use a cart by any means. The thing is, though, like one of the hardest greens courses on the PGA Tour is Riviera. The ball striking is still so good. Yeah. He isn't long. Could he win on a short track? Yeah, I think he very well could. I think Tiger Woods could make the cut this week.
Yeah.
I would never say he's going to win this week. I would never go that far. But if there's any place that he can actually play pretty damn well, it's a lesser undulated golf course, a flatter course that he can walk well, and a course that has greens that only a small few players can actually really hit them well. I think Tiger could do it. But again, he really is just so out of his league at this point, I guess.
Yeah, this ain't the week. This ain't the week.
But the motivation to get to 83, I don't think it can happen this week. There was reports actually that came out that as of today, he was at LA Country Club scouting out the U.S. Open course. Was not at Riviera yet, so clearly he has his eyes for something else. I was talking to one of my friends about it. LACC is one of the shortest tracks they're going to play this major season. It's the second shortest behind Royal Liverpool. But Royal Liverpool is one of the hilliest golf courses in all of England. So you're not going to be getting a very good Tiger Woods out of that. He's got to be climbing up hills. Augusta is now growing, 200, 300 yards. It's like 70, 500 yards and growing now. So he won't, I can almost guarantee you he will not do anything in Augusta, especially because he was dreading that walk on Sunday. And the PGA, I mean, Oak Hill's 7,300 yards, but again, it's the same thing. It's kind of hilly. It's not really a great course for him in terms of the ability. I mean, look, in the past, Tiger's been here plenty of times and he's played relatively well. Let's see. I think I have his numbers somewhere here. Tiger Woods, since the turn of the century, T13, T5, T7, T13, withdraw, missed cut, tied for 15th, and then played here in 2020 and finished 68th. Of course, didn't play in 2021, but hosted the event, gave Max Homa his trophy, and then days later busted his legs. That's all I can really say. I don't think Tiger Woods is going to do anything too incredible, but I would love to see him go out and dominate. I really hope he can.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think seeing those videos, I don't know if you saw it, but the videos of the guys finding out he's playing next week, Tom Kim, John Rahm,
They're all excited.
Jason Day, they were just so excited for it and so touched by it. Like a guy like Tom Kim, who's like, I'm a fan of Tiger. I hope I get to see Tiger play. Just shows how special he is to the tour. So even if he shoots 25 over this week, it's still going to be special, you know?
Well, Max Homa said it at the Open when they were paired together. He was like, I've never once played with Tiger Woods, and I was like fangirling the whole time. He said, I don't care if Tiger Woods shot a 208. I'd be more than happy to watch him play one round of golf.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's Tiger Woods, and like Tom Kim can pair with him. That would be fucking amazing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally the passing of the torch kind of thing to someone as good as he is. That would be impeccable. Tiger's, of course, confidential. So we're talking Riviera Country Club. We got to talk about the keys here, the architecture, the way it's built. This course is very fascinating, and on multiple facets. It's one of the only golf courses in America that has a bunker within a green. Yes, you heard that very correctly. There's a bunker on a green. I think that's one of two courses, if I'm not wrong. And the other one is TBC San Antonio, actually nearby to our good friend Brittany, who at some point is trying to invite me out there, and I'm waiting to go, and I really want to go. Whenever that happens, all I know is that her dad wants to go with me, which would probably be a great time. Riviera, 7,200 yards, about roughly there, about in length, pretty undulated. Has the smallest greened drivable par 4 on tour. If you've ever seen it, it's like a 250-yard par 4, but you cannot get to it unless you hit the greatest drive ever and imagine just kind of shoot around the corner. Just a ridiculous golf course. What do you think it's going to take this week for golfers to overcome Riviera and make their way to the podium?
Yeah, as like you said, it's just long enough to keep out guys like Tiger who just don't have that extra oomph. You know what I'm saying? To where it's going to take a guy who can definitely ball strike. We've seen that over every week. It's always about ball striking, but I think these greens and the way they play, you need a guy like Morikawa whose approach shots are just always consistent. I think you just need a guy. I even think Victor Hovland this week, I think he's an exceptional ball striker and exceptional within 140 to 160. I think that's really that money spot here. And you're going to see a guy like that win this week for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to approach play is going to be a must. Really, this golf course is all about precision.
Yeah.
And we talk about approach shots and how important they are and ball striking and all these other things. Your short game, I believe this is the golf course that produces the most 3-putts out of any golf course on the PGA Tour over the last 10 years. So something the most important to keep in mind. It's not somewhere that it looks very inviting at first glance, and then all of a sudden you step foot on the property and it's like, what did I get myself into? I agree with you. Colin's going to be a guy I'm looking out for. In these elevated events, I mean, it never hurts to have length. I mean, Scotty Scheffler is going to be a prime candidate this week to do damage. I think John Rahm, once again, is going to be in a prime spot to get a win. We've seen a very vast variety of people win here. We've seen Max Homa win, Tiger, of course, Justin Thomas has won here in the past. A lot of really great players, but also a very diverse portfolio of guys. So there is no true one guy who could win here. But one thing they almost certainly have in common is the ability to ball strike, approach shots, and of course the putter's got to be on point. When Colin was here last year, I think he lost like 10 strokes putting, which was like awful. But he was the number one ball striker, number one guy in driving accuracy and distance. So any one thing can go wrong with this golf course. And of course, in the elevated event atmosphere, that designated event atmosphere, anything's possible here. Moving on here to prop bets before we get into our stuff over at Beer Money on the other side. We got to talk our props for this week, brought to you by our friends over at Pickup. Play the headlines, get betting today. Just sign up with your phone number and get betting today. Jake, what do you have in the prop bet market this week? Anything fascinating or fun that we could be looking out for?
This is a bit of a surprise, I think, for what I said a couple minutes ago. But I got Tiger Woods first round over under par 71, and I'm actually going under, Steve. I think he comes out with a fresh leg, a fresh body, and we saw it at the Masters where he came out hot and he played well, and then his body starts to fall apart. I'm just saying first round over under par 71 under for Tiger.
I like a lot of props this week. One of them, there's a prop that you could find on an offshore sports book that I found the other day. Guys to find the bunker on the par 3 7th, which is the one par 3 that has a bunker in the middle of the green. I believe it's the 7th hole. I could be wrong. It's one of those front 9 lower holes. The over under was at like 6 or 7 a day. It's like 28 total. I would love to see the over on that just to see if it actually happens. I have no statistics, no rhyme or reason on it. I just think that's a really good play. We struck out this past weekend with hole-in-one at the 16th at the Waste Management, but plenty of ace opportunities at Riviera. I believe there will in fact be an ace this week. I'm going to put money on that this week.
Yeah, I got one more, and I think it's one that is a little undervalued at plus 400, and that's that winner wins by a playoff this week. I think with this elevated event in this field, I think plus 400 is crazy value for a playoff with how close these guys all play each other in these elevated events.
Do we have any numbers on recent playoffs in this event?
No, last year it was clean, right? I'm trying to remember who it was last year.
Yeah, last year was clean.
Joaquin Neiman, right?
What?
Joaquin Neiman last year was the winner?
Yeah, Joaquin Neiman won by 2. Here we go. Hold on. All right, I got it here. So you've got Neiman won by 2, Homa in a playoff, Adam Scott won by 2, JB Holmes won in 2019 by 1, Bubba by 2, DJ by 5, Bubba by 1, James Hahn in a playoff. So 2 playoffs since 2015. Bubba Watson's won here 3 times. That's crazy.
A lot of live guys winning this tournament.
Yeah, right? Like lots of live guys. Bubba, DJ, Phil's won here plenty of times in the past.
Joaquin
Neiman, of course. Is there anybody else? I mean, I know for a fact that Greg Norman most certainly has not won here. I can tell you that much.
No, he has not, and he doesn't have a jacket either. Craig,
Good,
have fun. We have the same amount of jackets, Craig.
Good, fuck him. I have more wins. I have the same amount of wins at Augusta National as Greg Norman.
Exactly.
I also have the same number of Super Bowl rings as Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, retweet to that.
We're gonna get shit on for that one. We're gonna take our final break. Actually, hold on. You know what? I have one more prop. I will talk Tiger Woods props because I think it's worth it. It isn't necessarily a prop. It's more so just like a straight bet. Tiger Woods to miss the cut this week. I'm sorry, Tiger. But the second that I read, if he won this week, he would jump from 12,917th in the OWGR to 53rd. I was like, that's a little too much for me. I will take Tiger Woods to miss the cut this week. We'll be right back here on the Get in the Hole podcast where we're going to give you our beer money picks of the week. I got to say, of all the things that I appreciate about this show, the fact that people are recognizing that we're actually some talented fucking individuals is great. got word from KB the other day. We are the 88th ranked podcast in golf in America. So thank you to all the listeners. I want to give you guys a shout out for supporting us and keeping us in your ears, whether it be in the bathroom at work when you got to take the 5 minutes off, when you're on your morning commute or your late night commute, or you're working the night shift in the lumber yards, whatever you're doing. Thank you for listening to me and Jake blabber about absolute nothing and talk about golf bets. It's Beer Money Time, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Kenwood, Philadelphia's #1 light beer. The Philadelphia Eagles lost the Super Bowl, but don't worry. You can drown out all your emotionals and sadness with a nice 6-pack of Kenny's. Go online to kenwoodbeer.com, find the Kenny tracker, and find yourself with some Kenny's today. Top 20 pick. We start off here in our Beer Money picks. Jake, take it away.
I think these odds are absolutely ludicrous for a guy whose form is incredible, and that's Taylor Montgomery, top 20, plus 240.
Montgomery really bit me in the ass for this week's fantasy. By the way, congratulations on finally winning your first fantasy event.
Woo! Let's go, baby.
I had 3 guys miss the cut, and at that point I was like, I'm totally out of this. So
I'm back.
Congrats to you. Even though John Rahm and Colin put up fucking monster numbers, you managed to pipe me out of the water on that one. Speaking of which, how are my other bets doing? I placed some. Oh my god, no way! I might win $54 on college hockey bets right now, and I don't know how this one bet's going. I wanted to just double check this right now. Where are we at?
Shout out Quinny Piak for their one good sport, which is hockey.
Number 1 in the nation, baby. They're playing Yale on Friday. If you want a free bet, Quinnipiac to win in a shutout. Yale has not scored a goal at Quinnipiac in 10 years.
Wow.
It's an amazing. The demons that college hockey team battles in Hamden is amazing. All right.
And Yale's good, right? Yale's pretty good.
No.
Are they not?
As of late, they've been like actually terrible.
Well, there's like 7 teams in Division I hockey, so you're bound to win a couple.
There's like 60.
Yeah, that's small in comparison to other sports.
Sir, bite me. Top 20 play here. These odds are actually like incredible, and I don't know how no one could not take it. By the way, I'm seeing Montgomery here at plus 260.
Yeah. Oh, really? I am at plus 240.
You can get him even better. Someone who I really like. Actually 2 guys who I really do like this week. Keegan Bradley plus 225. I think is a really good bet. My personal bet that I'm going to play, Tom Kim plus 170. He's going to come out here first time at Riviera. Feels like a golf course that's winnable for him. He really does come alive in the big moments. So I'll take Tom Kim plus 170 for a top 20. Top 10, what do you got?
The boy Tom Kim is back. But my top 10, Victor Hovland plus 260. I think this course, as I said, on the other side, just an incredible course for Victor. His approach shots, his short game. The guy's going to contend. He's been contending. He's been hot. Victor Hovland plus 260, top 10.
I've already put this number down as my winner, and it's so sad. He's been bet up so much. Sam Burns top 10 plus 280. I also have a ticket for him to win plus 5,000, which is like ridiculous because he's currently at plus 28. He's currently at 28 to 1. But I will take at that plus 280 number Sam Burns for top 10. He played really well, had the best round of the day on Saturday at the Waste Management. These are golf courses that Sam Burns plays really well at. He held the 54-hole lead 2 years ago until he fell off and finished in 3rd. That was the week he made a name for himself. I think he finally gets a win at a big-time event, gets some hardware, and is going to keep on going. He already won the Valspar, but this is the next step for him to get his way to like major contention territory for Sam Burns. So also, I'll ride with Sammy B. Bermuda Burns, top 5. Here we go.
Top 5, a guy who I think he's pretty much always top 5 on approach shots within 130 yards. And that's Colin Morikawa at plus 400 for top 5. He's going to this is a course that fits him perfectly. But I'm just not convinced his putter is going to be able to show up here, which is why I don't have him winning. But top 5, I think, is a pretty good bet for Colin Morikawa.
A little bit higher up on the board, top 5. I'm also taking the ticket for a win. Xander Schauffele plus 350. Again, Xander has not had a event worse than top 20 in like 9 weeks. He is, in my opinion, the undisputed number 4 golfer in the world. He should be much higher than what he is already on the official World Golf rankings. I love Xander here for a top 5. Really do think this is an event for him. If Scheffler and Rahm can fall off even a tad, I think this is a Xander Schauffele event to win. Has the driver, has the putter. Everything seems to work for him so far. Give me pick of the week. Who you got and why?
So, gimme pick here. I've been struggling with my gimme picks because I don't want to pick like Jon Rahm top 20 because that's just not something that's going to have any value. So I'm going with a guy who might be a little bit of up in the air guy, but I think his form is great. He's been playing good golf, and that's Jordan Spieth, top 20 at plus 150. So I think that's still value, but I think it's a pretty good lock going into this week.
I have a ridiculous bet. And like when I say ridiculous, I mean like so far down the odds board that like I didn't realize the odds board went this low.
And it's a gimme.
And it's a gimme. There's a player at this event. Let me actually just double check here that I am right in what I have, in what I am about to say. So this golfer, right, grew up in the area, played a lot of golf in the area. I think he has a really good overall profile, some really good metrics. He was on the Korn Ferry Tour last year and was great. He finished top 20 at the Farmers. He didn't have a great stretch at the Amex or at the Sony, but being now that he is in California, went to USC, played some good golf in his time there. Justin Suh, top 40 plus 500.
Wow.
There's something about the number 1 Korn Ferry Tour player in the world last year, the number 1 amateur golfer in the world last year, the number 1 college golfer 2 years ago. Something seems like there's like something fishing in the water, and the fact that he's from California and plays in California and resides in California, everything kind of just makes sense here. So Suh, top 40 plus 500 is my go-to play.
I like that.
Who's winning?
There's not even anything to say about him. I just think he's due to win. He's been playing great. Not a great week last week, but I think he shakes that off, comes out hot this week, and that's Rory McIlroy at plus 1,000 to win.
Plus 1,000?
Yeah.
All right, I dig it. I'm between a lot of names, to be honest with you.
I struggled too. I definitely struggled too to get it down.
You know what it is? It's just because the odds are so deep. Like the fact that I can get Adam Scott, a multi-time winner at this golf course, at plus 5,500, 50,001 is like obscene.
Yeah.
You know, I hate making this kind of a bet because of all of the elite golfers on the PGA Tour, he's the one guy who like has a 3 or 4 week stretch where he just sucks, and then has an elite run. But I think I'm gonna have to take it regardless. Justin Thomas plus 1,600.
Yeah, he's such a hard bet, but I love it. I love it because he's bound to stink one week, but he's also bound to just absolutely dominate.
Which is the problem. Like, he's so streaky, and yet posted a 67-65 and climbed into a backdoor 4th place finish this past week in an elevated event. He plays his best golf when the fields are the strongest. He has 3 top 10 finishes in his past 5 trips. The upside is here. He was a runner-up in 2019. I think it makes sense to get him here. I have him at 1,600. You can get him at like 18 or possibly even 20 to 1 at some point.
Wow. That is super value for Justin Thomas, especially with him. Last week, I saw on Sunday, I think his purse or winnings, whatever you want to call it, was like 120,000, and he climbed all the way up to like 989,000 in one day.
Nuts.
So that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts.
I think JT is so good, but again, it's just the inconsistency. I just simply cannot like work with him, and it doesn't work for me. But
yeah,
I'll take him this week. With that being said, finally, you, my friend, are in the win column. What is it now? I'm 3-1 then on the year. You're 1-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're back. We're back, boys. We're back.
Because you're still in the losers bracket, I will give you your first crack here at your wild card pick.
We're gonna go with Masters champion Hideki Matsuyama.
Did we not take Hideki at some point this year?
No, he hasn't been taken yet.
I
haven't taken him. I thought so. We can both take him, or only you can take. Only one of us.
Only one. Once he's taken once, he's off the board forever.
I don't think he's been taken, but I can shoot a provisional as well, just in case.
All right, provisional in case.
My provisional is. I'm gonna go Victor Hovland.
I like that.
Has yet to be picked.
It's as good a time as ever, I guess, to kind of pull the trigger on this and hope it sticks. But shit, dude, do I take Scotty Scheffler? Do I do that? Like, do I be a total d-bag and because the problem is you have to take the best players in the elevated events and the majors. I feel.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You know what? I will save Scotty for another week. I will go with Sam Burns. Bermuda Burns. I haven't.
You do love Sam Burns.
I do love Sam Burns. I think this is a good week for him. I think he can really make a dent in things. Final thoughts before we hit the road.
I'm going to lock in Victor, actually. Even if Hideki hasn't been picked, I want to lock in Victor. Yeah. I love you, Victor. I think you are absolutely going to be incredible this week, and you're on my team. Other than that, let's go see a great week of golf. Let's see if Tiger can do anything that makes us want to write home about him, but I just don't see it happening.
Final thought here this week. There's rumblings that the PGA Tour might turn these elevated events into no-cut, shortened field events, and I think it's an absolutely ridiculous play here. I think getting rid of the Monday qualifiers takes away from the opportunity for a lot of guys, and it makes a rich get richer, poor stay poor kind of situation. I don't really appreciate that from the PGA Tour. I know you're trying to compete with LIV, but at the same time, though, it just simply doesn't work out in the way you think. It's really important to give a lot of these guys a chance and to have a full field of golf. Who in the world is saying less golf, less people? Believe me, the waste management next year in a 72-man field would not be nearly as good as 156 when you have someone like Keith Mitchell putting and everyone goes visor. Like he's got a name, but no one knows it. When Brandon Wu is putting, everyone's like black shirt. Like, yeah, no one knows who you are, but you're giving the competition. You're making it fun. So to the PGA Tour, do not get rid of the shortened field events, please. Like, do not let it happen. Keep the big field. Keep the money. Make it fun. Don't try and make elevated events more important than the majors. So that being said, we're gonna get on going here. Jake, great show as always. Thank you for coming on once again. We had a blast. I'm waiting for you to speak.
Usually you cut it. I was waiting for you to cut it.
All right.
I don't have the good exits like you do. Like you always hit me good, and then you just go bang.
Honestly, I've been so out of it today, so it wasn't really a great outro by me. But you know what? Let's do this again. Thank you all for joining us here on the Get in the Hole podcast. Jake Dippold, Steve McAvoy here once again for you every week on the PGA Tour. We'll come back to you next week with whatever event is going on the calendar. I don't even know what it is. I'm not going to try to
Nothing important.
1 week. I say it every week. I will figure out the week it is. Shout out to Ronald Reagan in the back of your background. And to everybody out there watching Genesis, have fun, and let's go Tigers.
Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!